And we are, I believe, live. It says starting the event, live event. Bam, there we go. It says we're live. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome to our Modern Workplace Fire Away Friday. Today is 10/12/2018. You can see I'm pretty excited. I got the shades going. We've got our little Ninja Cat, Windows 10 Ninja Cat riding a narwhal, spearing bacon. And the shades are on, but we'll bring them on off so I can actually see what the heck I'm doing. But welcome to Fire Away Friday. As always, I am your host, Michael Giannotti, and we've got a packed session today. But I do want to call out a couple of things before we get started for your benefit. First off, if you ever want to get in touch with me for social media, ask me questions, bring up topics you'd like to see us cover here, you can see in the slides, which I'll provide after. We'll post with the archive video as well. How you can find me, and I'm going to be looking here to my big screen because my eyes are old. But you can find me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Mike Giannotti. You can also find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Giannotti. And finally at Facebook at facebook.com/Michael Giannotti. If you go there now, or I should say after this broadcast, you can see some of the things I've been doing, playing around with 3D photography from the iPhone. So check it out. Having said that, we have a packed agenda. So let's go ahead and get started. So today, we're going to start with our Modern Workplace top 3. And I've got some great ones. The third is an end of life. So we'll be taking a look at that for a product set that you might want to be aware of. I thought folks would be way beyond this, but I actually was just on a conference call with a client who is coming from the 2010 realm and world where this comes into effect. So we'll talk about that. Then we're going to hit our modern workplace tips. Today, I'm excited because I love talking end users, right? Business users, getting more out of what you got. So we're going to take a look at Microsoft Office. There are a whole bunch of stuff, a range of things that came out at Ignite. New features came with 2019 of Office, as well as have been coming out for the Office 365 version. So we're going to take a look at some of the differences between the two. Then we're going to dive into new features, and then I'm going to walk you through Word, PowerPoint, then Excel. And then I have one last little pretty cool add-on that you might want to take a look at, but some really great features that you're going to be able to take advantage of to accelerate your abilities around being productive, getting stuff done quicker, faster, and much cooler. So we'll walk through that. Again, this is a user-focused session today. After that, we're going to just kind of wrap up. I'll highlight the next session, which is actually going to be the second half of this one. It's going to be IT focused as you're rolling out Office. How do you deploy it, manage it, and all that good stuff? All right. So my modern workplace, number 1, coming in, the first one, and this I think is huge. If you're not in it, you should be. So this actually comes from a post from Caruana from Microsoft, and she absolutely rocks, is doing great things with the Microsoft Office 365 community, especially around Teams. But she's talking here about learn about adoption in our Office 365 Champs community program. As you're looking to roll out Microsoft Teams, you're looking to accelerate adoption. How do you get from Skype to Teams, which is really not apples to apples, but how do you get there? How do you then leverage Teams for things that you were traditionally using in SharePoint and others? Really, how do you drive that? Caroline has been doing some phenomenal work around enabling that and putting together content, materials, and training so that you can take advantage of that in your organization, right? She actually works with a number of my customers. She works with, a couple of top tier, very large accounts. And because I work with pharma, that means I get to listen to her and see what she's doing with them. But the beauty is the stuff she's doing with them, she's rolling out for all of you. So some of the benefits real quickly, you'll be able to preview the Office 365 adoption kit and the Teams adoption module as a part of that. Again, that's something she's been driving directly. You're going to get to hear speakers. They have presentations on a regular basis, meetings where you get to hear speakers from customers like yourself who'da thunk, right? People who are actually doing this, who are part of those champions. So you're going to get to hear from them discussing use cases, best practices, etc. You should be doing this, right? Implementation guidance from Microsoft product leaders, early access to tools and accelerators to help you land the value of 365 in your org, and special topics like we were just saying, transitioning from Skype to Teams, implementing a modern intranet, getting started with live events for employee engagement, etc. So how do you get started? Well, the link after the live we'll have posted out along with, the archive here. Click on that, go there, and she has, all this that I'm talking about, in-depth coverage and more around that, and links to how to sign up. If you're a Microsoft customer, if you're an employee at a Microsoft customer, you can sign up and be a part of the Champs program. So everybody wants to be a champion, right? Then you can start singing like Queen. We are the champ. Sorry for that. So at any rate, that's at number 1. All right, continuing on with our top 3. Number 2. I love this. This is awesome. This is a great post that's out there. I just thought it was awesome. One of the great things at this Ignite conference, every presentation got streamed. They streamed them live and people could watch from around the world, but they also archive those streams and have them available. So this comes from a blog post. It's called Ignite Live Blog because it was live happening. They blog. Now it's available. Learn how Microsoft does IT, the journey from Skype for business to Teams. This is a topic just keeps coming up and up and up and up. Client I mentioned earlier, they're on that journey. I went out to California with a customer, and that was a big part of the conversation that day, that journey from Skype to Teams. While that messaging piece is just a small piece of the larger Teams pie, for many organizations, that's a crucial piece, and they want to make sure they get that right. This blog post is going to show you and walk through how Microsoft, how we did it, how our IT enabled us, 100,000 seat plus organization, 100,000 plus seat organization to go. And I just want you to keep in mind as you watch it, just because it says, well, you're Microsoft, you're all technical. Wrong, that's not the case, right? We have a very large field sales force. We have folks in marketing, blah, blah, all kinds of different roles. The highly technical folks are less than half of our population. So you're still talking like 60,000 plus easy employees who are not of a technical nature specifically. Great post, some great folks talking about that. I highly encourage you to take a look. Lessons learned. Again, the link after the live broadcast, we'll have that up for you and available. Finally, the last of my top 3, and this goes back to 2010. Oh, memories. I can't help but singing. It's Friday. It's been a very long week for Mikey, so I can't help it. But Groove, and I'm not talking Microsoft's recently deprecated Groove music. No, we're talking Groove, getting groovy with file sharing. For those who remember, this is kind of like a walk down memory lane, right? And my puppy just came and plopped herself down next to me. So if you hear whining because I'm not petting, you may see me lean like this to do something. Having said that, so Groove, the world has changed since 2010. It's changed a lot. We're in 2018, getting ready, heading to 2019 rapidly, like a rocket. And in internet terms, in tech terms, that's like forever. That's like going back to the good old days. Like I listen to classic rock on the radio frequently, and I'm listening to songs and they're like 50 years ago, and I'm like, what? What? That song is how old? Or 30 years ago, etc. This is kind of like that greatest, classic rock's hit, and now there goes my puppy jumping. No, sit. It's kind of like that. Groove was a technology that we've seen since come about and instantiate itself. What started as Groove now and morphed and then became eventually what we're calling OneDrive today. But Groove, it's end of life support. So if you're still using Groove, and I had to dig hard and deep to find that icon that you're seeing on your screen, if you're still using it, there is a whole post on that. I'll have the links to that. Again, after the post, I forgot to post it, paste it in there. It doesn't matter. It'll be in the one when I do post the final slides, but it's ending. I think Bill Bear published this post out. So he has all about what end of support means for Groove, how to move forward if you're still using Groove, and determining your migration path, and he provides some resources. So it's a great post. Take a look. If you're not on Groove, Groove it. You should be on OneDrive. All right. Having said that, we're ready for today. Today's topic of interest. Why you're all here today. Modern Office, part 1 of 2. So today, this is actually coming I'll just read it. Per customer request, we will provide an update with the Ignite conference and its announcements. Many of our customers have been asking for a review of impactful features, state of office presentation. So this is the session. We will cover exciting features that you can unlock productivity within the healthcare and life sciences space or anywhere. This session is focused on end user enablement. So having said that, there's all kinds of stuff under the hood that IT cares about. They want to know how to manage and secure and blah, blah, blah. Not to blah, blah, but blah, blah, because today is users. Next week's IT. I love IT. I'm in IT. But that conversation is for next week. So this week, we are focusing on end user features. So having said that, there's a ton of stuff they announced. I could be here for hours. There are hours of presentations. I'll provide you links to some of that. But what I'm going to do is walk through some of the top things. We're actually going to start taking a look at 2019. In fact, let's go ahead and advance because what we're going to cover today. What am I going to cover? So, by the way, that pretty slide and all that cool look and feel, that's one of the things we're going to cover. How do you make your stuff not be boring, but more like this? All right, so what are we going to cover? First, the difference between Office 2019 and Office 365. All things are not equal. That's right. So we're going to cover that. Then we're going to walk through some of the new features of 2019 that are also in Office 365. If it's in 19, it's in 365, plus much more in 365, which you'll learn about in a moment. So we're going to go through a little bit of that, some of those key features. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to start off with Word. Then we're going to go into PowerPoint. Then we're going to hit Excel, and we're going to walk through some very cool features. Some are new, some are not. Some of them are ones that they've been there since 16, and I keep showing them people and that in customer sessions, and they're like, what? I can do what? So I'm going to show you because I want you to get the value out of Office. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, when we talk about Office, we're talking about part of what we call now, not just Office 365, but Microsoft 365. Really is this end-to-end solution between the cloud and the client, whether that be I'm on my Surface Book here, my Surface Book 2. It could be on my iPhone with my Office apps here. It could be on a regular desktop, a Mac, etc. It's part of the overall Office 365. It's all meant to move in a stream together forward, enabling features, lighting them up, taking advantage of the OSs, of the clients, of the services in the cloud, and keeping it all lockstep. And the major tenets are really around unlocking creativity, which we're going to look at a lot of that today, because Office is for creators, man, right? We're making stuff. We are moving and grooving, not groove though. Next, it's built for teamwork. It is built around collaboration, right? So this whole idea of being able to share, co-author, do stuff, share stuff readily, post it, publish it. It's that. We'll take a look at a little bit of that today. Integrated for simplicity, the way the stuff works together. We continue to drive that integration. And then intelligence security. So, I'm not going to hit too much of that. Really, the bulk of what we're going to talk about is how can you be more creative, more productive with Office, and we're going to hit on those aspects. So spot the difference. First off, this is a quick way to know what your org is providing you. Look on the left, it says Word Office 2019. Over on the other side, it says Word Office 365. Here's a hint. Michael here, when I fire up Word, I get Office 365. If you are seeing Office 2019, that means it is a one-time purchase, right, of the product. And while it will get patches and security updates, there are no new feature updates. You have to wait from now for another 3+ years for the next version of Office to see anything new appear. If, however, your org has gotten on the right train, they're doing the right thing for your org and for you, the user, to keep you up to date with the latest and greatest, they'll say Office 365. And what that means, it is part of your Office 365 subscription. That doesn't mean Word has to be in a browser or in the cloud. It runs and installs just like it always has. But what it does do is that it is a subscription offering that receives regular feature updates. We update the client, the services in the cloud on a quarterly basis. New things every quarter, they light up. Now your IT can meter that and slow that down because they might want to test and do things. And that's all great. You know, we support that. That's some of that we'll talk about next week. But having said that, we are readily and rapidly iterating on the value that you get with Office. And so that's what you get with Office 365. 2019, you get a roll-up of a subset of those new features. So for example, one of the things that I'll be showing today is, what's one? There's Tap and Go. I'll show you that today. That's one of the features, and that's been there in 365. It now just rolled out with Word 2019. So what are you chewing? That's a no. Here, you got a bone. Oh my goodness. Here, chew that. Puppies. All right. So that's the quickest and easiest way to know what you're running, Office 2019 or Office 365. When we talk about Pro Plus, I'm just going to quickly build this out. Pro Plus is the always up-to-date app. We update the client with the services in the cloud. So as we roll out new stuff like, I don't know, Microsoft Stream, and you start doing recording in PowerPoint, Stream serve that ability to publish to Stream just there, right? You don't get that again in the Office. You get that with Office 365. It's been called Pro Plus. Just call it Office 365. That's just a generic name. Office 2019, you wouldn't see those until that next version. So you can see here, you know, the different versions, 2010, 2013, it's like clockwork, 3-year increments, right? 2016 and 2019, and you see all these bumps, but then you see above it, the 365 Pro Plus, and again, those things roll out well in advance and can be taken advantage of by users before those who have the client. So what are some of the things that recently some of them have been there, some of them got introduced to 365, but they've come out with the 2019 timeframe and release. First off, in PowerPoint, Morph, Zoom, and 3D. Love some of these features, very cool. So number one, this whole idea, it says about making your presentations dynamic and exciting, having things so that we can morph between images and between slides, not just, you know, we had the old transitions, but actual true morphing, cinematic motion, right? Being able to do that and apply motion like that to 3D objects. Did you know that PowerPoint supports 3D models and objects in it? So you can have like a walking dinosaur moving and grooving, there we go, across the PowerPoint. There's all kinds of great stuff there. And you can also jump to and from slides and sections in an order that you decide, so it doesn't have to be the traditional linear. So you can see, you know, a number of different ways to jump and to do that. And again, we continue to enrich. PowerPoint's no longer just traditional slide after slide where it's like Bueller. No, PowerPoint's meant to be exciting, to grab your attention, pull you in. We support ink and annotation and pen for moving objects, all kinds of good stuff. I'll show you some of that. We'll be getting into that in a bit. Talking about, we call it the roaming pencil case. Roaming, right? So we've had this for a while. I don't have my beautiful, my Surface Book 2 did not come with a pen. My manager didn't buy me one. So I went ahead on eBay. I bought a generic, actually this is by Sony. I spent 29 bucks versus whatever it might have been. And, but I have a pen and I can do all kinds of ink. And now we support right within here, we call this roaming pencil case, move slides and objects with your pen, being able to grab and move and do things. Also, if you have a pen, it says ink reacts to user's touch with pressure sensitivity and tilt effects. Now, my pen, my generic one, doesn't give me all that. But if you have the Microsoft pen that goes with that device, you're going to see some great effects taking place. And notice it says pressure sensitivity and tilt in Office 2019 for Windows only. And it says the roaming pencil case is available on Office 2019 for Windows and Mac, right? So Mac can still move them around, but I'm sorry, your Mac doesn't support touch. How quaint. All right, moving on. New chart types. Well, we've got all kinds of new stuff. So I'm going to show you some different stuff in Excel. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a big Excel jockey, just not. For folks who are, though, there's some incredible things there and some that they're not listing here that I will show you what you're able to do. So one, they talk about identifying an insight, insert maps into Word and PowerPoint. So they have maps that are chart type maps, but also Bing Maps and having it right at your fingertips so you can actually show things in a dynamic map that you can work with and pop stuff off. Also transform geographic data into high fidelity visualization, talks about here. So I'm going to show you some of that as we go, and I think you'll find it interesting. Next, for those who are of this ilk, and I know many of my techie friends are like that, I actually am not, but some people have been clamoring for it. The black theme. It's kind of like that dark theme like you see when they show like sci-fi movies and hackers, everything's a black, dark theme. I don't know if that's supposed to be edgy, cool, help with your eyes, whatever. I'm a traditional. I have everything light and bright. But if you like the black theme, it's easy. It says easier on the eyes. You can turn it on now. It is available for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote for Windows only because it takes advantage of some things with the OS. But don't feel left out, Mac folks, although you cannot touch because, well, again, we can't help you with that until they enable touch. What we can do is this. We're providing for those Mac users, we're calling it focus mode, right? You can see here it strips away everything else. It's not the black theme, but it allows you to focus and look in on your documents when reading, clearing away all the clutter. It's a great way to focus in, focus mode. So that's for the Mac. That's available for the 2019, Office 2019 for Mac. And you can see and get with the program with that as well. Power BI integration. Love this. This is one of the ones I said it's not showing there in that Excel one because it's here, and I'll show you in Excel. But people do some amazing things in Excel. They create incredible charts and graphs and visualizations, right? And we continue to ramp up what Excel can do from that standpoint. And it's tied to back-end data. You can tie it, you can have common data services that are out there that you're grabbing that data, pumping it up and creating all this great content. But now you want to make it available and not just as a spreadsheet, but maybe it's like a report that's part of an interactive dashboard. Well, now you can. So publish your data directly from Excel now to Power BI. So do all that. If you're an Excel jockey and that's where you're comfortable in, and you're not someone who's going and opening the Power BI tool and doing that, you can just live in happy land in Excel and publish directly from Excel to Power BI. So now, once you've done that, now you have these interactive reports and dashboards that you can put out there and share for your users, and then all they need is a browser, or perhaps they're in Microsoft Teams, right? Bringing that single pane of glass to get your work done. So this is, it says it does require for this a Power BI subscription. There has to be Power BI enabled. You can't publish to Power BI if you don't have Power BI. So if you have it, you'll be able to publish that out and rock with that. And it's available in the 2019 version only. So IT, if you're watching and listening, watch next week about deployment and management, because you don't want to keep your users on older versions of clients. You want to give them the latest and greatest while managing it securely. All right, enough of my soapbox. @mentions. If you may not have heard of @mentions if you've been living under the rock. If you've been, or under your desk, and kept your head down. If you've been out on the, like my son likes to joke, the interwebs. You know, if you've been out on the internet, you know, you go into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of the social media pieces out there, which pretty much everybody's on something. If you're not, then here's some news for you. You can do an @ symbol and put somebody's name, and boom, it'll start pre-populating and pick them, and then it's an actual dynamic link to that person. So @, we now support them, and you can do a couple of things. Number one, get their attention in the body of a message or meeting invite. You're in Outlook, you're sending out that invite, you can @ someone. So you can see here doing that. You can select from your contact list and automatically add in the to line. And then finally, search for messages that mention you, the @you. So @ is a powerful way to group things, roll them up, link out to people, call attention. Available now, and you can see it right here surfacing in Microsoft Outlook, and they're showing it both on the PC and the Mac, but it is only a version available on those two platforms via Office 2019. Again, deploy, manage, keep up to date. All right. So that brings me, oh, wow, looking here. I'm big. So we're going to take a look at some of my favorites walking through the actual applications. We're going to take a look at, first we're going to open up Microsoft Word, and some things will hit you right off the bat visually, right? So we'll take a look at that. Then we're going to dive into PowerPoint, and then Excel, and then I've got one little last treat that's not a part of it proper, but super powerful, and if you're not using it, you should be. So let's go ahead. I am going to escape out of my PowerPoint there, and we're going to open up Microsoft Word, and it's opening on my second screen. PowerPoint I'm going to have to drag over because I have PowerPoint in background here and project in there, so it's going to keep doing that. But we're going to go ahead, open up just a blank document. And if I click on home, so I have mine all closing, so I gain that real estate, you'll notice something. It looks a little different, You're like, wait a minute, what is that difference? We've updated the icons, the look and feel, making things, you can really see it here over insert, right? It's a much more of that clean look and feel. We rolled it out first to Outlook. I actually saw some people asking about that on LinkedIn and on Facebook. Why does my Outlook look like the new modern, but my others went to Outlook first, then it came out, rolled down, and I just got it yesterday, right? So beautiful. So now I've got this much more modern look and feel. But I want to walk through the kind of the tabs, and before I actually get in the tabs, I'm going to close that. This is something that's been available for a while. It was out there back in 2016, etc. But you know, as you're storing content in the cloud and you're creating labels, and labels may be associated with a policy that can do something, we make it easy for business users. You can have those pump up right here. So for example, non-business, public, general, which is the default. These are labels surfacing in my Office apps. Confidential, and when I select these ones, it actually encrypts and secures those documents. I don't have to do open and go, you know, that I want to lock it down and do that. We're bubbling it up right here. So your IT, you guys can do the same thing. But let's start off and take a look at some of the new things here. First off the bat, integrated right in now. Not an add-on, not a preview, dictate. If you want to talk to Word, hands-free, this could be around accessibility, you know, maybe you have a disability that makes it a challenge interacting physically with the computer, and you can do some rudimentary pieces. Now you can actually do dictation right to Word from here, which is a beautiful thing. Additionally, I'm just going to go ahead and type something. This is me typing. So we'll go ahead and put that, and I'm going to come on back here to bring our drop down. So I've got some text here. And what if we want to do something with that text? Perhaps I have different language speakers, and I'm typing in one, I want to do another. Translation is another feature. Well, I may not know where to go here in my different tabs to grab translation. It's okay, because a feature that actually was in 2016, and I still get the, whoa, what? Huh? From customers when I show them, and it's one of my favorite because I use it all the time, right? I'm more of a Teams, SharePoint, and that. I use the clients to produce stuff, but, you know, I am not a superpower user of Office. I'm more about the management and all that, but I do some pretty cool things with it. And the way that I find it, and that I can do it in Excel, I can do it in PowerPoint, we don't care, is right up here. Look at this. Tell me what to do, right? Look at, as soon as I clicked in there, it starts suggesting things. So top features, print, spelling and grammar, watermarks, and then people. These are colleagues of mine popping up, right? That I might want to contact and share it with. I haven't done anything. Machine learning is looking at who I most frequently talk to, what do I do, and then connecting me to those folks right out the bat without me doing anything. But I want to translate. Now look, I'm starting to type. It's again, populating based off of what I'm doing. And it's suggesting documents around that maybe I want to grab content to use. Look, insert a document item from that document that it's suggesting, open it in PowerPoint. And then there is translate, which right from here, I can fire it off. It says translate selection or translate the document. And when I click that, I'm going to go ahead and turn that service on. It's going to go ahead, and now it's going to allow me to go ahead and start doing, it's going out to the services. It allows me to auto detect from here to what do I want to translate to? Well, my name is Michael Giannotti, so why don't we go ahead and do a little Italiano, and I'll go ahead and click translate. It's going to go ahead, and there we go. Questo mi sta scrivendo. And if you're Italian speaking, you're probably going, oh, Michael, you butchered that. But having said that, look how easy, right? So once we've turned that on, we can get up and go, and we can continue to rock and roll. So I can work with it. I can do sections of a document. Maybe I copy and paste, so I have two of any given paragraph, and then I can translate selected ones. Translation rocks. It's there. If you don't know what to do, just simply go to tell me what to do. And look, since that was the last thing I did, what does it look at? Document, right? Document translation. So that's the first piece. Let's come on back to home. And I already showed you, of course, the dictate piece. So we've got dictate protection. We do bubble that up. If you have access to rights management, Azure information protection, you can go ahead and lock documents down again right from here. Next, we're going to move over to insert because we have some pretty cool things here. Again, this is one that's been around. Every time I show clients, it's like they've seen this because it is the first time they've seen it. So again, one of my favorite features wasn't there for people who had necessarily the standalone version because they did not get these updates, but showed up for me with my Office 365. This is something called document item, and see how it says tap. It's affectionately known as tap and go. If you do research today, chances are when you're compiling a document and researching content for that given document, that you go out, you search for stuff, or you email people and they email you junk back, and then you open different stuff and you copy and you paste and you do this laborious activity. Well, if the work that people are doing is in the cloud, and we are providing at Microsoft these unified search services based off of that Microsoft graph so that all the data is available and exposable via our different applications. Why do I have to leave the comfort of Word just to find content and put it in it? Why do I have to do, jump 3 steps forward, 1 step back, do a backflip, dive through a hoop? Why can't I just do it in line? Well, I can now with Tap and Go. When I click that, notice what it's done. It says insert from file. And if I come over here, it's looking at stuff based off of previous searches. Files on OneDrive and SharePoint. It means SharePoint Online for us here at Microsoft, because that's where all of our SharePoint is. It's in the cloud. So it says go ahead and search for that. So I'm going to go ahead, and in our case, let's say I want to search for healthcare. So I'm going to go ahead. It's actually leveraging that unified search service in the Microsoft Graph to bring back content and bring it all back here. And I can see here's various documents, security and healthcare. It's a click through. Modern desktop. I've got they have competes, etc. Blah blah, all kinds of goodies. I want to grab one. Let's say. Health. What do I want to grab? Modern workplace. Here we go. So I could open here, or I don't want that one. I want one that's more visual. Challenger session. All right, so here's this Digital Transformation Academy. There's 61 slides. It actually just went on the fly, broke those all out for me, provides me a look, and I can simply now, to grab content, come to any one of these, and maybe I want to do insert slide. I click insert slide, boom, it drops it in for me. No copy, no paste. I did it all inline, and I did it right from Word here. So tap and go again. If you go to insert, I'm going to go ahead and close. Oops, get my mouse. I'm going to 2 screens here. You go to insert, document item where it says tap, boom, and you search. We also do have, though, again, another area. Maybe you want external content. Wikipedia, I got it right in line here. So I'm accessing Wikipedia, and I can search for something. Let's say I'm looking for the War of 1812. I don't know why that came to mind. It just did. So we found 21,680 articles. That's a lot of articles. I'm going to click the very first one here. It's got content here. Show this table. Maybe I want to grab this section right here. I click the plus sign, boom, drops it right in. So again, that ease of research, put it in. You can extend it for other resources if you have them, but it's a great new feature. That's under insert. Draw has some interesting things as well. We've supported ink and touch, right? So here I can do it with my fingers. But look at some of the others here. We have an ink editor, ink to shape, ink to math, right within Word, drawing canvas, and ink replay. This is pretty interesting. So, oh boy, how am I going to do this? I can't draw on that screen. So I'm going to do something here real quickly. I'm going to bring this here. So you are not seeing this particular Word doc. You're seeing another. I'm grabbing my pen. And I'm just going to draw and say, this is a database. So I'm drawing, and I'll do a picture like of an image, and I'm going to drag that back so everybody can see. So now I've done some inking, right? I used ink in Word. and somebody wants to see what the thought process was behind this. Maybe I might have done an architectural diagram building it out. Well, here's the beauty of it. Under Draw, Ink Replay. So watch this. Boom. I click Ink Replay, and what happened? Is it doing it? I need to close my other here. Come back here, Draw. There we go. So notice how it's playing it all back for me. I had two of them open. So it's playing it back in the order. It could have been an architectural diagram. Maybe I'm sharing a Word doc. This feature, you'll find it across Office. It rocks. Real powerful for PowerPoint. I'll tell you that, right? Where you're sharing and it'll actually play it like a video so you can talk to what's happening as it's building. So a great new piece there. We also have new features around design. We've kind of updated and modernized that. There's some great effects that you can take advantage of. Layout, has been there forever. References are here as well. Mailings, nothing revolutionary in some of these, but linked notes in OneNote, we can do that. We can hide ink from here, restrict editing. So we have some things there, ones that we're familiar with. Track changes, that could be helpful because maybe we have multiple users accessing this in a Microsoft Teams environment. We want to track, turn it on. It's still there, right? Languages we have, just like before. Accessibility, read aloud, just like we allow you to do to dictate. We'll also read it back for, again, accessibility. So some great things in Microsoft Word. Take a look at them. I love it. It pretty much rocks. Next, we're going to go into PowerPoint and take a look at some of those features there. So I got to drag this because I have my other presentation open in the other window. So it opened here. So we're going to go ahead and select PowerPoint. And there's some great stuff here. First of all, again, looking under Home, tell me what you want to do. That's always there. What do you want to do? So you can just start typing. If you don't know how to do a specific function, just go in and take a look. Notice again the updated icons, right? Insert, etc. Which brings me on, here's dictate, right? If I want to go ahead and talk, I can dictate into this cell right here. We can protect from here. But I'm going to go over here to insert because there is something new that I love. I actually did a video on this recently, but typically we create PowerPoints to present information. There might be video that plays in it. There might be all, we can even create it in kiosk mode, which will allow it to go run full frame, and we can loop it and it'll take people back to the beginning and all that good stuff. But what if we want to query people? I think about in the healthcare space, and the one I did a video on was, hey, maybe there's a new method for scrubbing and you want to train the users on that. You have a shared workstation. And look, I'm not technical. I don't know all this, but I want to quickly share that. We're going to train it and we want to capture their responses to make sure. Look at the new insert capability here. Forms. Let me say it again, forms. So I do a whole presentation, maybe an intro slide, a slide with video, and then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to just make a blank and say I want a form. When I click that, it's going out to the 365 service, right? And there we go. And it said, and it shows me a listing of existing forms that I have. I can scroll through. Do I want a new form or a new quiz? Right? Is this just a form or is it a quiz where I'm going to, grade people? So I can come out here. I'm going to say quiz because we want to take a look at that. So we click quiz and it opens up my browser, right? Because that's where we build forms, but it's going to do it automatically, inlay this form in there. So you'll see it. So here's my quiz. We'll call this our hand scrubbing quiz. And we can give a description, but then we can start to add questions. Now, notice this. I love this. At the very end, because this is training, it knows what we're doing because we did a quiz. It says, how satisfied are you with knowledge gained? do you feel you achieve your desired learning? There's a bunch of canned stuff that you can query them on. See, you know, do I need to iterate, etc.? How effective was the instructional materials used in this course? All kinds of goodies that you could put there, right? And you simply check them and it'll do that for you. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is create a multiple choice question. And we'll say, what medium should you use to wash your hands? Put a question mark there, and then I'm going to put my options. The first option we'll say is water and peanut butter. I mean, it's lunch, folks. I'm on my lunch hour, right? So water and peanut butter. Oh, we don't need that little option one. Next, we'll say water and antibacterial soap. It's actually just soap and water. And then I can add an additional, and we'll say, in this case, honey and butter, which we know is wrong. So the one that's right is this one here. We'll mark that correct answer. We could add additional questions. Do I want to allow for multiple answers? How many points is this worth? Is it required? Yes. Right? See how it says saving. Now, when I come back, look at that right in my PowerPoint. Bam! Bam! It's there. So a person can come in. I can have, you know, preview this. They can come in. They can answer, submit. It's going to go ahead, submit. Boom. View results. And there it is. I got it correct. On the back end side of things, I can track responses, right? I get all this. I can open up an Excel to slice and dice because it tracks my users, who's done what, and I can look at all that. Look at that. I built training materials and the subsequent testing to ensure that they've, you know, done the material and that they've mastered it. And all I did was open PowerPoint. So that is huge. At least I think it's huge. All right, so that's a new feature in there. Another new feature surfacing right out the gate now is screen recording. Screen recording. If you're somebody who I've worked with in the past, then you know that right out of here, that with PowerPoint, you've had the ability to go in, click File, Options, follow along, File, Options, and my dog has a squeaky toy. That's a big no. We're no squeaky toys. Looks like a skunk. Go out there and get it. Okay, so we go File, we click Options, then Customize Ribbon, and down here is a feature called Recording that when you click on that, cancel, it gives you a full capability here to create a recording. Notice now it's authenticated and stream came up and published. And I'm going to step away 1 second and chase my dog out. There we go. No, we're not doing that in here. There you go. Keep that. She's not going to be happy. We'll hear some whining. I'm home alone, so I have to watch the dog. So at any rate, coming back here, this whole rich feature set is there to create, and we'll take a look at that in a bit. But you know, for most users, they just want to add a how-to video into their PowerPoint. So let's make another blank slide here. And under Insert, here's this feature, Screen Recording. When we select that, it's going to minimize that PowerPoint, and then our mouse becomes a crosshair. So I can do the whole screen. I can do a window. I'll just create like one right here. We click Record, and boom. It's going to do a countdown, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully this doesn't blow up my transmission. Okay, good, we're good. And then as I do things like open this, and then go to here, and then here, whatever applications it is that I'm showing, it's recording all my actions. When if there's a process going, I can pause it, or I can just stop. Drops the video in. I can play that back. Getting audio, see, we're talking, everything is there. I can even affect how it looks and do some things with that. And I can even trim the video and do some things and insert captions, which is new. 2016, we could do the trimming. Now I can actually do captions, so I can put text and some stuff over it. So it's getting much richer, as you can see, the things that we can do. I can add bookmarks in it, all kinds of great stuff with this video. But now I have the ability right from within Insert to quickly grab video, how to do stuff. That brings me then to my next, which is if you've lit up recording, you can not only do that, but you can actually record the slides. And I've showed this many times. I'm not going to go through it for time's sake, but a lot we can do right from there. Then when we're all done, we can publish it out. We can export to video. If I select that option, the default is 1080p, but look at this. I can go all the way to 4K or down, up or down, or I can publish to stream, and then it's going to put the video up under my videos. Then I can assign it to a channel or group, and we're done, right? We have rock and rolled. I actually use the record feature to do my show me how videos online, the HLS, Healthcare and Life Sciences Show Me How, where I do things like, we'll bring this up, how to recover deleted files in Microsoft Teams. I did that using the record. So, you know, again, click that. It's going to bring up that particular post, and you'll see it's a video I posted. In this case, I did the save it locally, and then I uploaded it to YouTube. So it's going out looking for that YouTube video. There it is. And if I click it and you play, you'll see it's going to start off with, there's PowerPoint, right? Show me how. And then it's going to move into, from there, the actual demo portion, etc. Easy peasy. So that's PowerPoint. Come on back here. Again, there are additional pieces, and one of my favorite is this. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's add another slide. And we'll do title and content. And then in here, I'll say, this is the title. This feature is by far my favorite. I use it all the time. And then we'll put some text, blah, 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 blah. And then I want to grab a screenshot. I'm going to copy something. So let's go ahead and, I don't know, we'll copy that. Come back and we'll paste. There we go. And when I do, look at what happens. It opened up here, design ideas. Now it's going to automatically give me some pretty cool ideas around designing based upon machine learning from the cloud, then surfacing in the application so that I can readily go ahead and create some very slick looking content without having to be a graphics designer. That's what I use all the time when I'm going to do a combination of text and images. I use design ideas. You can also get that to that here in design and click design ideas, but it automatically, you saw I had some text. As soon as I added an image on top, it recognized what I'm trying to do, dropped it in, and bam, there we go. So PowerPoint rocking, you know, there's more things, you know, we've had transitions and animations, all that continues, slideshow where we can set things, set up a slideshow, review them, again, translates here as well. And if you didn't know where to go, tell me what to do. We can view it, pull things up, take a look there. Again, we already went through recording, and that's that for PowerPoint. Pretty powerful. Pretty cool. Last but not least, and then I'm going to give you one last little treat before we talk about next week, Microsoft Excel. So Excel is doing some very cool stuff as well. I don't have much time to go into all of it because that would be a session unto itself, and maybe that's what we'll do is set one up, an Excel power user session to show all the new things. But again, if we come here you can see classification of my documents, tell me what to do, always appearing. And here are things here, how to do things with pens, smart lookup, freeze panes, prints, etc. And I can actually start to type and search on stuff. Maybe I want to do maps, right? 3D map, insert a map chart, and it's going to bring all that up right here for me. If we come over to the home, again, you'll see some of these icons have changed. There's our protection. We have word wrap, select and find, things that we've had forever. But when we start getting here into insert, things start to get interesting. So we have access to all of our add-ons right here in Get Add-ons. But Bing Maps, maybe I want to add a map, right? So not just a chart map, but an actual map that we're going to overlay data on. And here you can see it's dropped in. I can insert sample data if I want. So there we go. And now here we have this particular map that people can come in, zoom out, right? So we can continue to zoom in here. There we go. Keep going. And take a look at our data, and it's being driven off of here, sample data. So it lets you kind of get a feel for that. But it's a dynamic map, right? It's using the Bing mapping services. You can do things, you can apply filters, right? So then I can go on, I want to see just Paris, maybe data, and so, pull that up, etc. And when we're done, we've got some information here, security info, and we can also show different locations from here. So here you can see there's the different ones as they appear and the data that's there as well. So mapping, Bing, putting data against a dynamic map, it is there. If we come on back again to insert, we also have the people graph. People graph allows you to go in here. It's given again, it's taking off of some sample data, but we can go in and affect and change that data and it's just one of the new visualizations where we want to display data with people and be able to go and do some of that work. Under insert here, again, there's our maps view that we had pulled up earlier. We have things around 3D mapping that we can do. And again, things that we've had in the past where we can go ahead, insert, tie to data, and do some other particular pieces. Drawing is supported now in Excel though as well. Look, so we have lasso select, draw with touch. We have inking, and ink replay is here as well. Page layouts, nothing earth shaking, just changing of our particular pieces there. Tying to data. So we have, the typical ones that we may have used in the past, right, where we can pull from web, CSV, and other sources. We also, though, now have Dynamics out of the box, so we can tie to that, refresh from Dynamics, get our data tied to that, and do that here. We have flow integration. Boom! Flow. So if you're inputting data, again, you can go ahead and we can do things with flow there as well. Review, translate is here. Some of the views, formats, etc. Last but not least, I'm going to come in here into file. All right. And if we look at, for example, if we want to share data, there's some of our options there. Come on back here. Export. Here's, our typical PDF, and publish. There's the Power BI, right? So it's going at it actually just pulled, and it's pulling out where do you want to pull. These are showing actual ones that I have access to in our 365 environment, including my workspace. And it says you can upload your workbook to Power BI or export the data to Power BI. So do my work here in Excel, push it up, Power BI, bam, done. Excel is rocking. We continue to add to that. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Again, that's a whole session unto itself. And we're going to close out of there. That's some of my favorites. Moving on. I said we were going to bring, but wait, there's more. Presentation Translator. So I have a link here to the website where you can grab this. There is an add-on for PowerPoint. If you have not seen it, I've shown it before, I think in the past on demos. I do it all the time with customers. We see it, but it's gotten even richer now. We call it Presentation Translator. With that, number one, within PowerPoint itself, and that's what we're showing right here, right, with this where it says Mission, Microsoft Mission. We can have as the person is talking, the text appearing in another language. So for example, I spent a bunch of time this last year in France with a customer. I could be speaking in English, but having French showing on the fly dynamically, translating my language. Now it is machine translation, but it helps a lot in getting that point across. It also allows me to translate all the stuff in there. But take it one step further, Translator is also available for the mobile device, right? So here they're showing one, and it could be your iPhone, it could be Android, either one, iOS or Android. With that, they can sit there and you can have multiple languages listening to you, and it will translate your spoken language on. It's like Star Trek's translator. I will tell you, I love it. It has offline capability so that you don't have to rely on being connected to the cloud. Recently went to, well, this last year was France, the year before was Croatia and Bosnia. And when I went to both, I did the offline language packs and was able to do both me speaking to it and showing them and having them talk and seeing what they were saying on the fly, where some of mine had the translator from another search service that required at the time cloud connection. Didn't work the same because they didn't have access to the internet. Boom. So Translator, Presentation Translator rocks. I'm going to provide a link to it. You should absolutely take a look after the fact and check it out. We covered a lot. Hope you learned some things, some new tips and tricks that you could be trying. You know, tap and go, record, ink replay, translation, design, great stuff that's out there, Zoom and Morph and more. I'll have links to all that stuff and videos showing you how. Of course, you can always go into any of those applications, tell me what you want to do, start typing it, and it'll tell you how to do it. But I want to thank you for joining today. Our next session will be on 10/26. That's why I did 2 weeks in a row. 10/26, because I'll be working out in California next week, but not able to broadcast from there. That's why I moved this one up. But on 10/26, we're going to have Modern Office Part 2 of 2, an IT focused session focusing on deployment and management of that. I might even have a special guest that I rope in for that. After this session, as always, I'll be posting an archive to the blog site and LinkedIn, along with a PDF version of all the slides and links you saw today. I'll also have all the links in the post itself, so you'll be able to get that. You know, of course, if you want to find out and want to join us online, there's a couple of different places you can go. Number one, first and foremost, go to aka.ms/HLS blog. That'll bring you to our blog on tech communities where we continue to post. We'd love to hear from you. If you have things you want me to show you how to talk about, do, etc. We've been onboarding not just myself, but a whole slew of new authors who you're going to start to see come online. So take a look, put that under your favorites, that site, post questions. We love to hear from you. We love to hear commentary on the posts, not just likes. I keep getting lots of likes, but we'd love to hear from you. Let's dialogue, let's talk. Also, if you have requests, you can do it on the blog or on aka.ms/HLS community, and I'll get those and be able to tee stuff up from there as well. But that's it. We're at 3 past the hour. I knew we were going to run long today, but I want to thank you for joining me today. You know, as always, been a lot to see, a lot to do, and I'm going to drop that piece. You know, again, here's that life sciences blog. You can see we had recovering teams, client mode, learning how I did that whole PowerPoint one and forms. So see us there. But coming on back. There we go. Now I'm looking back at my broadcast out of Microsoft Teams. I want to thank you for joining us today. As always, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being here. I know I saw a lot of you today, and I went a mile a minute. We'll make sure for the next one, especially for that deployment piece. I know there'll be a lot of questions, so I'll take some of the ones that I see here. I've got all those captured under the Q&A, and I'll be able to have additional content links and pieces per what you're asking. You know, I have some ones about where can I find training on how to do these pieces, etc. We'll have all that in the post. So thanks for joining. Take care. Have a great weekend. Remember, with Office. Your future is so bright, you got to wear shades. From all of us here at Healthcare and Life Sciences, this is Michael Giannotti bidding you have a great day, great weekend. Take care, and as always, ciao.